Yo, what up guys, Travic here, and today I want to talk about the Atlas. I'm sure people have talked about this before, but I finally got the time and the chance to sit down and really push my character deep into the Atlas. I've been exploring a lot of other things like the Trials of Sychamus, I've been leveling a Hexblast character, I've been doing a bunch of different things, and I really haven't had the chance to fully and utterly juice my Atlas, and very recently I started looking into it, and a bunch of people have been asking me how I've been doing it. Well, today's video, I want to talk about my Atlas, I want to talk about my Atlas passive points, and I want to pretty much talk about what I'm doing both with my character in terms of rarity gear and what I'm doing in terms of my maps. So let's start from the beginning. A lot of people have this discussion about rarity. Rarity is very important. It's great. It does add more loot to your character. Do you need rarity? Yeah, it kind of helps. Should you push your character to the outright max limits and have 4,000% rarity where you hinder your character? No, you shouldn't do that. What you should be doing with your character is you should be focusing on the stats and the resistances that you need to cap your character. Like me, for example, I need to change out my ring or divine my ring to cap my cold resistance. And then once you fill all the halls of your character, meaning once you fill all of your defenses, you get all the life that you need, you get all the resistances that you need, you should be adding in some form of rarity. For me personally, I have rarity on my one ring here. We have 43%, and we have another 37% rarity here. The reason why I'm able to fit in rarity is all of my other stats are completely filled in places that I need them to be in. Especially like if I were to even like swap out my chest here, I would have capped resistances and a little less life. But I made sure the first thing that I did was I made sure that I filled in all of my resistances and all of my stats and everything that I need to keep my character alive. I've even actually been able to push my character to level 94 recently with some of the changes that I've made to keep my character alive. Now, to check your rarity stat, you would come here to your skill tree, you would press G, you'd click this little arrow, and you'd scroll down to the bottom. You see that I innately have 142% rarity, and this is due to ingenuity scaling my rings. But in terms of not having ingenuity and wondering about how much rarity you should have, I wouldn't probably aim for more than like 100, 150. If getting rarity slows your character down, don't get rarity, it's not worth it. Now, the next major thing. If your character has rarity or if your character doesn't have rarity, you probably want to juice your maps and you want to take your maps to the next level. To do this, we need to find maps that we want to run. For me, for example, I want to run maps in this section and in this section. And you notice that I have towers ready for tablets, but my towers currently are not showing me what they do or how they interact. This is an absolute known bug. It is quite unfortunate. I would love for them to fix this. But your towers actually are probably one of the biggest, most important things to scaling your loot that will be dropping inside of your maps. So your towers have this really cool feature. You might not have seen it unless you've come here to the like present world. But if you click on your map device in the real world and you hover over your towers, some people have this, some people don't. We see right away, there's this large ring going around our map. This tells us what area or what towers are currently going to affect our map. So we see that this tower here is affecting all these maps. This tower here is affecting all these maps. This tower here is affecting all these maps. This tower here is affecting all these. This is affecting all this. This is affecting all this. And this is affecting all this. What that tells me is that these towers will be a huge multiplier to my loot and something that I really want to take advantage of. So what I mean by this is if I hover over Steam Springs here and I click on this, it currently has no modifiers. If I use a tablet and stick it into my tree here, like this modifier will go on all of these areas that this tower is affecting. So all of my zones will now get increased quantity and breaches. So if I click on this and I see that ripple effect happen, this now has 14% increased quantity of items found. This has 14%, this has 14%, this has 14%. All of these zones that I haven't run yet within this circle now have 14% increased quantity. And I would do the same for this. I would get a tablet and I would look for quantity or rarity. Here we go again, another 10% quantity of items dropped, and I would put this in and I would affect all of these zones. Now this zone has a 24% chance of quantity of items to drop and 10% increased breach monster density. So any area that has a breach would get 10% more monster density. And then I'm gonna do the same thing here. I'm gonna take this one here, I'm gonna put quantity of items found, and I'm gonna influence my zone. And now this zone has a 40% increased quantity of items dropped. And this zone has a 40%. And this zone has a 40%. And then I'm going to take this one and I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to add rarity to all these and I'm going to try to get breaches on a lot of these maps. So now these areas have 40% increased quantity of items found, 20% increased rarity, breach density, and more waste zones. The hardest thing currently about our atlas is getting and finding these towers. You see right now, I had to come here, go here, go here, go here, 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 and here. And you have to spend the time pretty much looking at these and running the path that runs the, how do I phrase this? You have to take a path that doesn't do a lot of maps, but hits the most amount of towers. And you can actually even see towers in the fog. So after I clear out this whole zone and this whole zone of maps, I'm going to make my way down over here to this tower. And I'm going to reveal this whole zone and I'm going to make my way down to this tower. So now this area over here has a tower, a tower, a tower, a tower, a tower, and a tower. And if I can find a way to go like this in a big triangle, I'll have access to all the maps in theory here. And all of these maps with proper watchstones will be able to scale, or with proper tablets, will be able to scale all the maps in that area, completely juicing them to the moon, increasing all of the loot that I'll get. And a lot of players, myself included, haven't been fully aware of this and aren't really doing this. And ever since I started doing this, my loot has been astronomical. It is completely been a game changer. These tablets here, they drop from all kinds of different content. You get mirror tablets if you do delirium, you get ritual tablets if you do ritual, so forth and so on. And rolling these tablets is the biggest problem, because since we don't have alterations, you're pretty much stuck with whatever you get. And if you get really bad rolls and you don't get quantity rolls and you don't get rarity rolls, it feels bad because we have no alterations. So if I just take, for example, a bunch of irradiated towers or irradiated tablets and I look at them and I don't roll quantity on them, like quantity of waste zones, great, whatever, I don't care. You can actually take your reforges and reforge them or resell them and buy new ones and just reforge them in an attempt to get quantity found. And this is like something that I've started to recently do. And I've been trying to get more quantity in all of my maps. And now I'll actually show you. If I go into a map and I go run my next map and we just say take this, let's do a nice one. Fortress looks bad. What is over here? Steam Springs, Seepage. Let's see. What's a good one that we can run? Rust Bowl. Decay? Sure, let's check out Decay. This one has Delirium and stuff like that. So we're not going to do minus max. Minus max is going to kill us. We'll juice up this map over here. We'll hit it with some stuff. Looks good. This map now has increased quantity, increased rarity. We, give it a little click and we go put this map in. Where'd it go? Is it this one? It's this one. So let's take a look at what 40%, 20%, and 11% does. And then we'll talk about why that happens. So we go into the map and we take a look at the stats. This map has 73% increased quantity, 75% increased rarity, 448% increased waste zones. If we do this right and we juice our towers right, we can actually get results that look very similar to this. My buddy sent me his 5 towers here. And when he scaled his maps, he got 241% increased rarity and 69%, or 241% quantity and 69% increased rarity. A lot of this, like I said, comes from our towers scaling on top of each other. And now this map, when I run it, and we're going to run it in a second, is going to have a ton of loot. The reason why this is so impactful is our Atlas tree has a lot of really interesting nodes on them that I wasn't aware of how impactful they were until I started doing this. First and foremost, this one says 3% increased effective explicit modifiers on your waste zone for each precursor tower affecting them, scaling our maps to the moon. 3% increased effective each based upon each tower. That area has 4 towers on it. This one says we have a 20% chance to double the effect of the precursor tablets on our map. Unfortunately, the map we just went into, I don't think rolled the 20%, but we could have rolled the 20% getting 80% or even better depending on how things go. Then we take other little effects here where we get increased effect of our watchstone tablets. We can even go down here for more tablets. We can go over here to do biome stuff. We can come over here for more increased effect of our tablets. We have pack sizes in our map. And all of these modifiers here scale our tablets and scale our maps. And the more we scale our tablets and the more we scale our maps, the more gear and the more quantity, the more everything our maps are going to have, especially if we roll the 20% chance to double up. And this is what, like, I wish I'd been doing this since like a week or two ago. And I'm so sad I learned about this late, but it's so strong because you could just scale your maps to the moon and you really don't need to do that full relying on rarity gear because you're just stacking all the loot inside of your maps. Sure, rarity will give you more, but you end up stacking it. So the atlas that I'm currently running looks like this, where we have 15% increased rare monsters in our map because more rare monsters is really good. We take a bunch of pack size nodes here, 25% increased magic monsters here, which affects our breaches and everything. More magic monsters inside of our map, 20% more magic monsters, quantity of waystones that we're finding. Rare and uniques have additional modifiers. More modifiers are rare means more loot falling. Effects of our modifiers, quantity of items found in our maps, more rarity, more modifiers on our maps. We have 2% increased effective modifiers on your waystone for each explicit modifier. And then we just keep going up. More quantity in our maps, more effective modifiers, more pack size, more pack size, more pack size. Waystones have 25% more effective prefix, 25% more effective suffix. And then we just get the precursor effects. Now, what I really should have done for this map that I'm running is I should have ran this map and made it better. I should have rolled it a little bit higher. I should have rolled it a little bit harder. I should have aimed for more quantity on the map. I should have aimed for more rarity on the map. And now comes this point where like I should be spending time properly rolling my maps. And what I mean by this is if my tier 15 rare map doesn't have all the good stuff on it, all the juice on it, I shouldn't run it. I should go look for another tier 15 rare, and I should really be catering my maps to have the most amount of juice on them that they can have, meaning more quantity, more rarity, more rare monsters, more everything. And all of this really starts to come into play with the amount of loot that we're going to find. And I just don't think a lot of players are really starting to do this yet and really starting to capitalize on this. And it's probably being a thing that's like really affecting a lot of players in their loot. Now, I know players are like, oh my God, but I want divines to fall. Why don't divines just fall? Divines should just fall. And like, yeah, divines are really rare. Yeah, you're probably not gonna find a whole lot of divines, but if you properly scale your maps and you properly fix your waystones, you're going to get these maps like you see here that just have an absolute metric ton of loot in them. And you're going to be able to use all this loot to trade for divines. I know like a lot of people aren't really keen on trading. They don't like trading. You know, the trading in Path of Exile, it's a little cooked. It needs a little bit of fixing. You know, people don't answer, people price fix. I get it. There's a lot of hiccups in Path of Exile too in terms of trading. You're not alone in that. There's a lot of people who are having the same problems that you are. But the currency exchange is something that exists. All of these alchemy orbs, all of these splinters, all of these like jeweler's orbs, all of this stuff will sell. And all these little things that I'm getting inside of this map now are all things that I should be using to increase my character's net wealth to get more loot. And you see right away, you know, we did that one breach. There's so much loot. That rare mob drops so much loot. And a lot of it is just because we're scaling our maps properly and spending the time to learn how to do it. Now, my character, not the very best for deli stuff. I don't know, the explosions don't really happen. I wish it was a little bit better. I'm gonna fix it for deli. But everything that we add on our map just makes it a little bit better and a little bit better and a little bit better. And you see doing league mechanics plus the breach tablets or plus tablets in general just makes your maps really strong and really profitable. I tested earlier today on stream too. At first I didn't believe it. I was like, there's no shot this is adding as much as like people claim it's adding. And I ran a whole bunch of maps on stream today without using towers, literally to get to the towers that you see that I'm at now to set up to do this video. And all of those maps that I ran, they were not very good. They were very medium. I got no maps out of them. I got no real loot out of them. They were pretty like, to be honest, they were like, you know, you were just kind of like, yo, where's the loot, man? You know the like John Travolta meme when he's like walking all around, looking all over the place? You know, that's kind of what it was like, and it sucked. But it's fine, you know? But now we know, now we scale our towers, we get everything up and running, we get our loot going, and you start to see, even coming into this breach now, like we come into this breach and just immediately the amount of loot that's coming out of it is crazy. Hopefully we don't die. I'll be so sad if we die. Every time I record a video, something randomly just decides that today's not my day. And it's like, XDD, you're going to die. And I'm like, please don't do this. Please stop killing me. I'm begged. There's a nice little boss for us. Don't you do it. Let's kill the delirium so we don't accidentally die. Meditate back to full. Meditate back to full. Oh, meditate's so good. Give him a little slappy poo. There you go, man. Dude, there's so much loot everywhere. This is awesome. This is great. There's tons of loot everywhere. And this is it. This is it. This is why you want to do it. You really, really, really want to spend time. Honestly, you really want to spend time like messing around with your tablets and just getting everything up and running. Now you're going to say to me, hey, I've leveled my Atlas. I've done everything. What's next? The other thing that you need to do is if you're going to farm content like Breach, you want to get all your Breach points. If you're going to do content like Ritual, you want all of your Ritual points. Whatever the content that your character is going to excel at, whether it be, you know, bossing, Ritual, Delirium, Expedition, or Breach, you really want to spend the time and get the Atlas points. I know getting the Breach points is a pain. I know getting the Ritual points is a pain. I understand they're expensive, but the amount of power that they add is literally insane. It is absolutely out of this world. And just as important as this tree is, getting these points is just as important. And if you need help, there are plenty of people that do carry services, but you really, really, really want to invest the time and the currency to get these points. I know this one's really expensive. It's like 7 divs a point or something like that. And, you know, it's a lot for some people. And I agree, it's a lot. But the amount of returns that you will get from getting those points and filling out your Atlas will outweigh everything else. And I really encourage you guys, you know, even if you have to ask for help, or if like your buddy gets the fight and your buddy lets you run it, like you just got to do what you got to do to get the points, because it's just so impactful on everything that you do that it'll be, you know, you'll get the points if you don't have them, and you'll get the points and you'll put them on, and it's just going to be an absolute game changer. But we see right away inside of this map, you know, we have a whole bunch of loot. We've got tons and tons of maps, tons and tons of loot, regular breach rings that we can grab, nice high tier tiaras that we can grab, and it's just an insane amount of loot. Oh, this actually dropped corrupted. Oh, that's really cool. I didn't know stuff could drop corrupted like that. That's really cool, actually. I'm unable. And I just really wanted to make this video to just pretty much showcase to you guys, like, look at that rare. That rare just blew up with like all kinds of stuff on it. It's crazy, dude. It's crazy. Now, these maps do get hard. These maps do have, like, look at all the loot that guy dropped. It's crazy, dude. Crazy. Granted, not all of it's great, but you know, it's like, look, just look at this, so much loot off of one mob. But anyways, the whole point of what I'm trying to say is Rarity is good, yes, but you can get so much more if you just try to scale your maps, right? Like, I honestly can't stress it enough. Just scale your maps, scale your maps, scale your maps. Having the ability to use towers and having them just be able to scale to the moon and add 40% quantity on every map is crazy. These waystones could have rolled so much better too, and I could have so much more quantity on these maps. Just so much more. But for now, friends, I know this video went a little bit longer than I wanted, but I really wanted to stress the importance of these towers. I really wanted to stress the importance of like properly juicing your maps. And I just wanted to make sure that you guys knew. And like I said, don't be like me. If you have a map and it doesn't have good modifiers on it to give you more stuff, just don't run it. Just go next. Just really hunt those really, really nice maps, and don't be too scared to like use exalted orbs, because as you see, we ran this map, we got 7x, we got a whole bunch of maps there. Look, see, rarity. Look at the rarity and quantity on this thing. It's crazy, dude. Crazy. Now this will be a good map to run. We'd run this map and we would be stoked out of our mind. And it went up to tier 16. Whew. Can't beat it, dude. Can't beat it. But for now, friends, I hope you guys found this video useful and helpful. I hope it taught you something, and I hope that if you give this a try, you get tons of good loot and divines. If there's something I could have done better with this farming strategy or some other cool tip that you guys know, please don't hesitate to leave a comment down below and let me know. Or for now, friends, I'm gonna get this video to you guys. I'll see you all in the next one.